मन्मनो मीनवन्नित्यं क्रीडत्यानन्दवारिधौ सुस्नातस्तेन भूतात्मा सम्यक् विज्ञानवारिणा. My mind, like a fish, always sports in the ocean of bliss. By those excellent waters of knowledge, one becomes well bathed and the self is purified. So, I will follow this with various types of baths that are said to purify us. So, there are 7 types of bath, and I'll send them a bit later. And among them, one of the best is the meditation on the self, and that is the last one in that. So I'll follow that soon. Okay. Good evening. So in the morning, I sent a post on purification of the mind, and that is considered as bathing of the mind because that's purifying it. And in the scriptures of our Vedic times, in the Vedic tradition, there are 7 types of bath, and actually in each of them, or literally every activity had some connection to the divine, so that not just the physical body but the inner body, the mind also gets cleansed, so that purifies the thoughts as well. So the first one is a mantra bath. That means there are certain prayers which are meant for inner purification. Like from the sect I am in, we follow this ritual of worshipping the various elements of nature, the sun, the planets. So it's called Sandhya Vandhanam. One of the students in our group is a Canadian. So that's why I'm mentioning this specifically. And one of those prayers included in that is for this very same inner purification, which is the mantra based bath. Then the second type is based on a mud. It's called a bhaumam or parthivam. And even, I mean, now it's also in beauty parlors, people have mud packs. So in the olden days, people even had mud applied on their body, and after some time they'll take bath. So because that's also having some healing property. Then the third type is applying the holy ash from the sacrificial fire. People used to do, even now people do. So they uh, have fire rituals where they do offerings for the gods, and that ash that comes after completion of that ash is used and applied on the body, and that's literally a fire bath. That's why it's called Agneyam. Agni is fire. Then the fourth is the Vayavyam. This is air bath, and in this case, the place where the cow moves on the earth, that dust that comes from that is basically, we the person is around that area or in that area, so that that dust comes on the skin. And because the cow is really considered sacred, by the Hindu um, religion, we this is considered as a sacred, again another kind of a purification, and this is the air bath. Then we have divyam, and this is divyam means it's a divine bath, and that is sunbathing. And in the earlier days, the ancient Indians used to apply oil and be on the sun. And nowadays, I don't see this, not seen much, but this is literally the sunbathing that we see nowadays. So this is the fifth one. Then sixth is what we do now, taking bath with water. Normally, that's the thing. But in the ancient times, people used to, in fact, the recommended thing even in Ayurveda is to take bath in the natural sources of water like lakes, rivers, ponds. The reason being, it is heated by the sun during the day, it gets the solar energy, and in the night, it's cooled by the moon's energy, moonlight. And that is said to be really beneficial for the body. And nowadays, we all, it's all at home, there's nothing to do with the nature, but that's how it was. And we also nowadays, it's all about using soaps and all, but soap is not said to be not good for the skin actually. And Ayurveda normally recommends uh, natural things like wheat flour or barley, because those are much better for the skin than the soap. Soap actually takes away a lot of nutrients from the skin. And usually, as part of this taking bath in the natural sources of water, some mantras are included which make it purer. And even those who like take bath at home, they chant some verses which invoke these rivers, the pure rivers like Ganga. And that also is said to wash away. It's like actual bathing in those rivers, and that washes away the sins as well. That's what its significance is about. And the seventh, the last one that I had mentioned earlier, it's called Manasam. That means it's a meditation on the self, and this is a purification at the mental level, and therefore it's a mental bath. And this, according to Adi Shankaracharya, is the most enjoyable bath. Uh, I know many of you might be into meditation, so you can relate to it. So I just wanted to give this because many may not be aware that we have these things in the ancient texts of the Vedas. So the idea is that just like we have a physical bath, the mind needs to also have a bath or be purified. One way is through these that I've mentioned, and the other is, I mean, these means mostly it's about the meditation or the mantra, because I have not given anything in detail. It's the message is that we need to purify the mind through either these traditional ritualistic way. The other way, which is our modern way, is to gain knowledge, and that's what we are trying to get into. Knowledge is also a purifier, it's a soap for the mind. So that's what I'm trying to get in here. So I'm not any great in or having any great knowledge as such, I would say, but I can point to certain things which can help and get some better insight into what we are doing and why we need to follow certain methods or be aware of certain things, and we can have the correct attitude towards the learning. The You can call it a project. That's what we are going to get into. And next week I'll talk about what are the attitudes that are needed, and I will take up the yogic point of view. They call it bhavas, and that's how um, the exercises are also categorized in yoga. And that is perfect here because It's the same kind of thing that applies in terms of the sequence of um, the flow in which we need to approach the subject of study in terms of attitude. So that's the next week agenda. I hope it just gives you some triggers or something to think about and helps you further in being aligned and be prepared for the kind of study we'll get into. Thank you so much.